you, that has been one of the things, Carlos, at times that have made me feel like I want to walk away.
Really? From the show?
Yeah.
You never said that to me.
I thought we were doing an exclusive interview.
It all started quietly. No big announcement, no farewell post, no emotional goodbye scene. Just a simple absence that left fans wondering, where's Melody? But it didn't take long before whispers began to grow louder. And when LaTisha Scott finally decided to speak up, what she revealed shocked everyone who thought they already knew the story.
He's been showing people stuff on his phone forever. Like the whole revenge porn thing, that did happen. That is a true thing that really happened. And not only have he shown people stuff in his phone of his ex-wife, he's also showed people stuff in his phone with his baby mother.
Because according to Leticia, Melody Shari didn't just walk away from love and marriage, Huntsville out of peace or exhaustion she might have been pushed. Leticia didn't hold back when she spoke about Melody's sudden departure. She claimed that things behind the scenes were far from what fans saw on TV. What looked like a woman taking control of her life might have actually been the breaking point after years of quiet tension, unspoken resentment, and battles that nobody outside the cast truly understood.
Y'all, at midnight, Melody Shari Rogers released her statement stating that she would no longer be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. After 9 seasons of sharing her life with us, she has decided to part ways with the show.
But here's where it gets even more complicated because Leticia hinted that this wasn't just about personality clashes or production drama. She believes Melody was placed in an impossible position, surrounded by conflict from every direction, until leaving became the only move left. And that's where this story takes a turn, one that exposes the complicated web of friendship, fame, and betrayal that's been quietly brewing in Huntsville for years. Before the tension exploded, Melody Shari was one of the main reasons Love and Marriage, Huntsville became a hit. She wasn't just a cast member, she was the heart of the show.
Anything else you'd like to talk about? Your husband has made these false statements about Marcel.
How do you know they're false?
Because I know they're false.
How do you know they're false?
Are they real?
That's neither here nor there for me to say.
Okay.
When she appeared on screen, fans saw a strong, confident woman building her brand, raising her kids, and trying to balance it all while navigating the wreckage of a public divorce. In the beginning, Melody and Martell were seen as the power couple, successful, charismatic, and deeply connected. But behind that success, cracks were forming. When Martell's affair came to light, it didn't just break their marriage, it split the show's entire foundation.
I will bust my tail in his face. Ma'am, did you cheat on him too? Please give me the goddamn answer.
Only time I talked to anybody was when I went with Martell no more, and I never went back.
No, we talking about when you was coming for me, hurting me, and every little
I can't do the
thing you do. Melody, she used to leave the house, say, I'm going to the hotel
Yeah, let's
for
talk
2
about
days.
it. So everybody does what they need to do for their me time, for their calming down time. And now you, because you got caught cheating all these years, I was cheating? Man, get that out of here.
Suddenly, every scene felt heavier, every conversation more personal. Fans watched as Melody transformed from a wife trying to save her marriage into a single mother fighting for her peace. She became the symbol of resilience, especially for women who'd been through betrayal themselves. And while the world admired her strength, not everyone around her saw it the same way. LaTisha Scott, who once had a close friendship with Melody, claimed things between them changed once fame entered the picture.
You're gonna keep back trailing to this other woman because that's embarrassing for a woman. Cheating, it's not right.
No, it's not.
You're not
period.
supposed to do it, period.
No, you're not.
But it's how they do it. And the thing for me is disrespectful cheating. You keep making a laughingstock out of her. That's a lot to take for a woman, and a woman of her caliber.
She hinted that Melody started pulling away from the group, creating distance that wasn't always explained. What used to be sisterhood slowly became silence. At first, viewers assumed it was just the normal ups and downs of reality TV friendships. But Leticia suggested that Melody's isolation was more intentional than people realized. According to her, Melody stopped confiding in the cast, started making moves behind the scenes, and kept big decisions to herself. Then came the major bombshell. Leticia claimed that Melody's exit from the show wasn't something she planned in peace. It was a decision made under pressure. According to Leticia, production and behind-the-scenes politics had more to do with Melody's departure than fans were ever told. She suggested that certain people, possibly even those in charge, wanted Melody gone or at least out of the spotlight. She said there were conversations happening in rooms that Melody didn't know about. Meetings about creative direction, storylines, and cast dynamics that ultimately shaped the fate of everyone on screen. And if you believe Leticia's version of events, Melody was slowly being written out of her own story. But here's the twist: Leticia didn't say this with anger. She spoke with the kind of tone that made people wonder if she actually felt sorry for Melody. Because even if they had their differences, she seemed to recognize the emotional weight of what Melody was going through. Leticia explained that Melody had been dropping hints long before her final episode. Small comments about needing peace, about choosing herself, about protecting her mental health. But while fans thought it was self-care, Leticia said it looked more like someone cornered someone, realizing she didn't have much of a choice. Behind the polished social media posts and motivational captions, Leticia painted a picture of Melody under tremendous pressure. From production demands to lingering conflict with Martell, the walls were closing in. And then came another revelation, one that made this story even messier. Leticia hinted that Melody's relationship with Love and Marriage, Huntsville producer Carlos King, had also soured long before she left. She didn't share full details, but she strongly suggested there were legal disputes brewing, the kind of behind-the-scenes tension that never makes it to TV. It wasn't about petty arguments or screen time. This was business. Contracts. Ownership. Money. For someone like Melody, who prided herself on independence, that kind of battle could have been draining. According to Leticia, the thought of being trapped in legal disputes that could damage her career and finances was terrifying for Melody. It wasn't just about losing a role, it was about protecting her livelihood. And Leticia believes that was one of the biggest reasons Melody finally said enough. But what makes her story even more emotional is that, while Melody was fighting all this behind the scenes, she was also dealing with the emotional scars of her past. The very public breakdown of her marriage to Martell Holt wasn't just tabloid material, it was a trauma lived in real time. Leticia explained that the emotional burden of that divorce, combined with the stress of fame, was too heavy to carry forever. She said that every time Melody walked onto the set, she wasn't just filming a reality show, she was reliving her pain. Imagine going to work every day and facing your ex, rehashing the same betrayal over and over for millions of people to comment on. That kind of environment doesn't just exhaust you, it breaks you down little by little. Leticia said Melody tried to stay strong for her children, her fans, and her growing businesses, but there were moments when it all became too much. Even the strongest people have a limit. And while fans saw her smiling online, Leticia hinted that behind those smiles were tears that nobody saw. But what nobody expected was how much this situation divided fans. When Leticia's comments hit the internet, social media exploded. Some fans supported Melody's decision to leave, saying she deserved peace after everything she'd endured. Others accused her of being dramatic, claiming she walked away because she couldn't handle the pressure anymore. One fan wrote, "Melody did what she had to do. No job is worth your sanity. I'm proud of her for choosing herself." Another added, "I feel like production pushed her out. She carried that show and they didn't respect her enough." The debate quickly turned into chaos. Suddenly, everyone had a theory. Was Melody forced out because she clashed with Carlos King? Was she trying to protect her brand before legal trouble got worse? Or did she simply realize that peace was more valuable than fame? Leticia didn't answer those questions directly. But she made one thing clear: what happened to Melody wasn't as simple as a woman deciding to quit TV. It was the result of years of emotional exhaustion, professional tension, and unspoken battles that slowly took their toll. According to Leticia, Melody's exit might have been the only way she could truly start over. And when you look at everything she's been through, it starts to make sense. She went from being a wife and business partner to standing alone in front of millions of people who dissected her every move. She went from being celebrated for her strength to being criticized for showing emotion. For someone who built her life around empowerment and transparency, being stuck in an environment full of backroom politics and hidden agendas must have felt suffocating. Leticia said something that stuck with fans: "You can't keep burning bridges and expect to stay standing." At first, people thought it was shade toward Melody. But some interpreted it differently. Maybe it was Leticia's way of saying the entire cast had been burning bridges, not just Melody. Because the truth is, love and marriage, Huntsville has always been a mix of love, ambition, and betrayal. And when those ingredients mix too long, someone always ends up walking away. Even after leaving the show, Melody hasn't completely escaped the drama. There are still whispers about whether she'll return or if producers are trying to replace her energy with new cast members. But no matter what happens, her absence is felt. The dynamic changed. The heart of the show shifted. Leticia herself admitted that, despite their past, things aren't the same without Melody. She said the cast lost a certain spark, a kind of emotional weight that made every scene feel real. And that's the irony. The woman many believed caused too much chaos might have actually been the glue that held everything together. Now, as Melody focuses on her businesses, music, and motherhood, fans are watching closely to see what comes next. She's been building quietly new ventures, new partnerships, and a renewed focus on her peace. But Leticia's comments left everyone thinking. If Melody truly was pressured out, what does that say about the reality TV world she helped build? And if she left by choice, was it because she finally realized that her peace was worth more than her paycheck? Either way, it's clear that Melody's journey didn't end when she left the show. It simply entered a new chapter. Leticia may have been the one to break the silence, but Melody's silence since then says even more. She hasn't clapped back, hasn't thrown shade, hasn't tried to defend herself, and that alone speaks volumes. It's almost as if she's saying, "I don't owe anyone an explanation." Maybe that's the real lesson in all of this. Sometimes walking away is the loudest statement you can make. Because while others are still debating who's right and who's wrong, Melody seems focused on healing, rebuilding, and finally living on her own terms. And no matter how anyone feels about her departure, one thing is undeniable: she changed the face of reality TV in Huntsville forever. Her strength, her vulnerability, her willingness to live her truth on camera, it made people care. And whether you love her or criticize her, you can't ignore the fact that Melody's story connected with thousands of women who saw themselves in her journey. So maybe Leticia's words, as explosive as they were, actually helped close one chapter while opening another. Because if Melody really left for her peace, maybe that's not a loss. Maybe it's freedom. And if the rumors are true, if production politics, personal conflicts, and emotional burnout all played a role, then maybe love and marriage, Huntsville just showed us what happens when real life becomes too real for TV. In the end, Leticia's version of events might never be fully proven. But what it did was spark a bigger conversation about how much people are willing to sacrifice for fame, and what happens when the spotlight starts to burn instead of shine. For Melody Shari, walking away wasn't weakness, it was survival. And sometimes, choosing yourself is the most powerful comeback of all.